All right. Good morning. Hey, this is Sid Owsley from the Determination Determines Destination podcast, the 3Ds to Success, where we share stories of people who use what I call the 3Ds to Success. Determination determines destination to overcome obstacles and challenges in their life. And this morning we have Linda Nefertiti Patton. She is an author, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur. She believes that women should not be defined by their past, but empowered by the possibility of their future. Linda is triumphant and courageous. She understands that there is a higher purpose in her life and that it is her duty to reshape the victim mindset. Welcome, Linda. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, staying warm here in Maryland.
Yes, I understand that. We have a storm here in Texas, and God is truly amazing because for the last couple days I have not had power, and I finally got it back in time for our interview,
Yeah.
and my water is still off. But I'm so happy and grateful that I'm still here and able to use my voice to make a difference.
Well, it's awesome, and yes, it is a blessing that you got your power on, and I know that your water will be back on, in short order. And thoughts and prayers got everybody out there in Texas and Oklahoma and Midwest area and things like that dealing with that weather.
Yes.
So, Linda, tell us about your story of how you use what I call the 3Ds to success. Determination determines destination to overcome obstacles and challenges in your life.
Before I go into my story, there are some people that I like to thank because to whom much is given, much is required. And I have had some people that have made a marked difference in my life. My coach and mentor, Mr. and Mrs. Edwin and Andrea Haynes. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them as we go. Mr. and Mrs. Holton and Erling Buggs, Mr. and Mrs. Johnny and Krista Wembry, Mr. Les Brown, Mr. John Tallarico, and Mr. Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
These people have helped me change my mindset to where I go from the victim mentality to a victor that's out here to lend a helping hands to others that are coming behind me going through some of the same things I went through.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of 9 children, 8 girls and 1 boy.
Wow.
I have 2 sons, a stepdaughter. I have 5 grandchildren, and I have a great grandson. And I thank God that I'm able to say that because there were some things that happened to me earlier in life that if I had just given in, or if he hadn't seen fit for me to still be here, I would be gone. And I want to start with the poem that I wrote, which symbolizes the things I've gone through in my life and the things we're all going through to let us know that he is able to take care of us. It's called The Shift.
All right, let's hear it.
You know, life is a journey. Sometimes you enjoy it, and sometimes you don't know what to do. Just be still and listen. Allow his voice to direct you. There's a shift in the atmosphere, and I'm so grateful that I am still here. There's a purpose he's shown me, and I know that it's time because his grace and his mercy has kept me alive, choked within an inch of life, lying on death's floor, wondering if there was anything left just to see him open another door. Strength, pain, purpose, joy, and love, I realized the answers could only come from above. Once you've humbled yourself and fall down on your knees, he will lift you up and give you the shift, a paradigm that will set you free. I wrote this poem because of what I was going through during the pandemic. You see, I was married for 35 years, but my husband died 10 years ago. Well, he died in 2010. So this was a storm that the first time I've really gone through a storm by myself. Usually I'm surrounded with my family. Hurricane Harvey hit and we were all together. Hurricane Ike hit and I was with my husband. But this time I was in the storm all by myself. Wow. But I wasn't by myself. I was alone with God. And I went back through my life. I had a very tumultuous childhood, but I was determined that I was going to make it through the things I went through. I suffered several different types of abuses, starting when I was in elementary school. Someone attempted to murder me while I was pregnant. And then after that, and they choked me within an inch of life. Wow. So I knew God had other plans for me. And then I even tried to take my own life. But God had other plans for me. My son is still alive today. And I am still alive and able to say I am a great grandmother, and that's God's grace and mercy. Yes. After I graduated from high school, I joined a church, and that church had an African naming ceremony. Wow. A gentleman came from Africa. Now, you got to understand the times. There was the 70s, okay? Gotcha. And what's going on now, Black Lives Matter, Black Power movement was going on back then. So I joined a church called the Shrine of the Black Madonna. And there they taught me who I was, to be proud of myself. They taught all of us that. And most people pick their names out of an African naming book, but I had no clue because I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel worthy of anything. I didn't feel like I deserved anything because of the things I had been through earlier. But a gentleman from Africa came and he gave me the name Nefertiti. Now, that's significant in my life because I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel worthy. And that name, Nefertiti, symbolizes a queen. Nefertiti was the queen of Egypt. And when I found that out, when he told me that had a change, that helped me change my attitude because somebody saw something in me to give me a name that symbolized a queen. Yeah. Even after all I had been through. So my whole attitude changed about who I was. So much so that I attracted my husband, whom I was with for 35 years. Now, we were married for 31, but together for 35. He had a daughter and I had a son. They were like 6 months apart. And it was a little rocky to begin in because we were talking about merging our families together. And so now I'm becoming a blended family. We moved to Houston, got married, and a few years later, we had my youngest son. So that helped us blend our families together. And it wasn't all peaches and cream. You can imagine being married for 35 years. We went through some of everything, but I thank God I was with him until the day he died. As a matter of fact, he died the day before my birthday. We'll talk about that in a minute. I left high school. I graduated from high school and got my diploma. I did not want to see another school, another book. I was a troublemaker in school because of the things that happened to me when I was earlier. There was a label that was given to me, and unfortunately, I accepted it. So I was a troublemaker. I was a class clown. I was a CD student, but I had a good memory. I soaked stuff in very, very easily. I was talking to one of my sisters the other day, and they reminded me, my mother used to, she dropped out of school, but she used to send us to the grocery store with the grocery list. She put a line down the middle of that grocery list. And then on the right side, the left side of each column, she'd write down the items that she wanted. And on the right side, she'd write down the prices. Now, she remembered where everything was on every aisle in that store and the price. If we were a penny over, she wanted us to bring that penny back. If we owed the store a penny, we had to take that penny back. And everybody knew my mother because the store was right at the end of the street. And it used to bother me. Why did she do this? First of all, how could she remember all that? And I developed a memory like that. I got it from her. So I was able to remember things good. And that helped me get through school and do the things I needed to do. When I moved to Texas, I got a job the day after I got here. And I worked at several different places, but I ended up at the place that I currently work today that I've just given my notice to. Wow. I am retiring after 35 years of working there. And I realized that I loved what I was doing because it was a service industry. We helped other people. And because of the things that I went through in life, I have helped people throughout my life. I've always been an encourager and nurturer. The one person I didn't know how to encourage, though, was myself. Wow. And that all changed. 2003, my husband found out that he had a rare form of cancer called multiple myeloma. He was in an accident and they found out he had a slither of his third cervical vertebrae left. And he was able to save himself from becoming a paraplegic or dying because he walked around with his head on his shoulders like this for a month. Wow. And the doctor said, had he not done that, his neck could have snapped and that could have been it. Ooh. They called him into the doctor's office one day, and I was at work, and he called me and said, I need you to take off the rest of the day at work and come back to the doctor with me. Well, when I went back, they took me in a room by myself and showed me his x-ray. They said, this is the first, the second, the fourth, the fifth. I said, wait a minute, you skipped the third. They say, because it's only a slither of that vertebrae left. Wow. We're going to send your husband home in a wheelchair, but he has 1 week to 11 months to live. Mm-hmm. And so we had some choices to make. He accepted that they told him he was going to die in 11 months. So I had some work to do to encourage him as his wife. And that was really, it was a deep kind of thing because you got somebody that's willing to give up on life. Mm-hmm. And I knew that when he went in there, he didn't think he was dying. He just felt like something was wrong. So after a week of feeling sorry for himself, I said, I'm sorry. I've told everybody. He didn't want me to tell anybody. I told everybody. We got a prayer line going around in 13 states. Now you got a decision to make. Either you want to live or you want to die. You let me know which one it is and we'll go with that. He said, I want to live. I want to fight. And we fought for 7 years. Wow. He lived for 7 years. We changed our eating habits. We changed our environment. We changed everything. And he lived for 7 years. And during those 7 years, he encouraged everybody he came in contact with. But for the first 9 months, he wore a halo like the one that Superman wore when he had that horse accident. Okay. And we talked about writing a book. We never did. And in 2010, he took his last breath the day before my birthday. Wow. My life spiraled upside down. And I had to go back and relive my 20s and my 30s, and we're going to stop there. We're not going to go any further, okay? But I had to live those things all over again because I never dealt with the issues that bothered me when I was a young girl. Me and him talked about it, and then I forgot about it, and I suppressed them deep down inside. So now I had to go back and relive those times to figure out who I was before I met him, who I was while we were together, and who I was supposed to become. During that time, I would go home, lay across my bed, and cry after I went back to work. And I went back to work early because I didn't want to lay there in self-pity. So I went back to work, and I'd come home at night and I'd lay across the bed and cry. One of those days, I was watching Oprah Winfrey show. She was going off the air, and Tyler Perry was giving her accolades. And he said Oprah Winfrey has just given 300 well-deserving African-American men a scholarship to Morehouse. And because of her, those men are now doctors, lawyers, business people. And I sat straight up through all my tears and say, God, that's what I want to do. I want to do something to that magnitude. I need you to send me a vehicle that will help me financially and that will allow me to help other people. And a couple days later, I got a call from a friend, and that friend invited me to an opportunity. And we didn't part ways too good. It had been about a year since I heard from him. So at first, everything was going good. Then I thought about it. Oh, I don't know if he's setting me up or not. So I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come. I'm going to have to call you back. And he said, because of the caliber of the person that is going to be doing this presentation, I need to have a definite yes, or I'll give your seat to somebody else. Who do you think he's talking to? Who is he? Who do you think he is? And then better yet, do he know who I am? So I said, well, I'll let you know. He said, let me know by Wednesday. I hung up the phone. And when I hung up the phone, that voice said, now you asked for an opportunity. I gave it to you, and you were about to miss it. Needless to say, I picked that phone up and I called him and I went to that opportunity. And because I was obedient, the gentleman and his wife that I met are still in my life. And they're the coaches and mentor I was talking about earlier, Mr. and Mrs. Edwin and Andrea Haynes. I joined a network marketing business with them before, and now we're in a new business. The business that I'm a part of, it is so amazing because I didn't have as great a life as a young child as a lot of people, but it was necessary for me to go through those things. They happened to me, but they were for somebody else. And I realized that today. And because of that, I am in a business that gives back to the community. As a matter of fact, have you ever heard of a boomerang?
Yeah.
You throw that boomerang out, and if you throw it out the right way, it comes back to you. Well, that's what this company's name is, and it signifies giving out goodwill, and goodwill come back to you. And because of that, we have partnerships with a foundation that gives back to hungry children every time we give one of our customers a free website. So now I can use my life to help other children that may not experience the things that they want to experience or that are going hungry. And we're working to eradicate that hunger. And that is so fulfilling to say, okay, I can take the things that I learned as a child and help somebody else through this foundation. And I do it when I work with young girls and women. I mentor young girls going from elementary school, junior high school, and middle school, to high school. And I've even led small groups of women. By having these mentors and people that I look up to in my life, they've changed my mindset. I read positive books. I listen to positive videos and audio, and I surround myself with positive people. Mm-hmm. Mr. Johnny Wimbery says, surround yourself with the thinking that outthinks you. And Mr. Les Brown says, surround yourself with OQP, only quality people. Right. And I heard Mr. Les Brown's voice earlier in my life, and I didn't know who it was, and it resonated with me, but I wasn't ready to hear it. And he said, you have greatness in you. So I said, he can't be talking to me. I wasn't ready for it then. But God uses people to speak into your life. And eventually I heard his voice and I answered that call. In 2020, we all went through a storm. Yeah. We all a lot of us lost loved ones, lost our jobs, lost our homes. Some of us even lost our mind. I always say that at one point in my life, I lost almost everything. The only thing I held on to was my mind, and sometimes that was questionable. But I thank God that I'm still here. In 2020, I lost my father. It had been 10 years since my husband died. And one morning, I was laying on my couch and my vision board fell and hit me in my head. Wow. And on the vision board, it said, it's been 10 years, 100 women making a beautiful difference in thousands of lives. In 2011, I had asked God to send me something that would help me make a difference. And now it's hitting me over the head. Yeah. I'm already in this network marketing group with these amazing people that I can utilize to do that. But I also put a business together called the Queendom Journey. Now, the Queendom Journey is to help women that have had it not so good in life, that have went through adversities and don't feel like they are enough. And there will be a mentoring program to help those ladies realize that there's a queen in them. And if there's anything I can do to help them bring that queen out, that's what I'm here to do. I've worked with so many amazing people, and I'm surrounded by those people. And in August of 2020, I heard that voice again. It was Mr. Les Brown. He says, you have greatness in you. Yeah. And this time, that was my call to action. And I took that call. I became a part of Mr. Brown's Power Voice, and I found my voice again. Mm-hmm. I spoke on his Power Voice Summit, and I know this is only the beginning of what God has in store for me. My goal is to help at least 100 women walk into their greatness and achieve economic success, women and young girls. My name is Linda Nefertiti. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you have definitely been on the Queendom Journey.
Yes. Yes.
You know, when you said that, when you went to the naming ceremony and you were given the name Nefertiti, mm-hmm. And then later on, and that changed your feeling and perspective on yourself.
Right.
Because you knew there had to be a reason that you got that name. And when you said that you attracted your husband,
yes,
after that was powerful. That whole change of perspective at yourself altered what you were attracting into your life.
Right, right. Well, I saw him walk through the door of a community center that we lived in.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw him, I told my sister, "Oh my God, there goes my husband." And she's like, "Girl, you crazy." She said, "Girl, you crazy." I said, "You know me. When I see something I want, I go after it." My whole mentality changed just by someone telling me, "You're a queen." Because I never thought that way. It changed my whole mindset. Now we became good friends
Uh-huh.
because he was still married.
Mm-hmm.
And his thing was he wanted to get back with his wife
Uh-huh.
and his daughter. And I had broken up from a prior relationship, which had something to do with me, trying to take my life, but I was still in love with this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually became the best of friends, and we're trying to help each other get back with our exes.
Wow.
And after a while, we realized that's not getting ready to happen. They're not paying attention to us. They're not paying attention to us. And we really developed an attraction and a fondness for each other. And we became the best of friends before we got married. And to me, that was important because we could talk to each other about any and everything.
Uh-huh.
And when I lost my husband, I not only lost my husband, I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend. And so that is what sent me spiraling. But and when my father died, I thought that I had really gotten through all that I was going through with my husband. But my father's death had a different type of effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
When he died, I realized some things about myself that I didn't understand because of the things that my father did. He and my mother divorced when they were married for 24 years, but he was always in my life. However, he did some things I didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
He was a person to give service. He served in the Army as a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division of the Army in 46, from 46 to 54. So, he went through some hell.
Oh, yeah.
And then he came back, started his own business and employed people in the community. And he was always giving service to others. So I understood where my encouraging of others and my serving to others came from. And I realized it was time for me to get myself together, get my mindset right. I had been working on myself, but I was feeling sorry for myself to a certain extent. And it was time for me to get myself together so I could leave a legacy for my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and finish the legacy that he and my husband started. And that's when I joined Mr. Les Brown. And they've worked on my mindset, Mr. Les Brown and John Tellerico and Bob Proctor. So I have all these people that I hear that are helping me. And I want to do the same and pass on what they've given to me to help others.
That is awesome.
Thank
The
you.
mentor you mentioned, Les Brown, John Tallarico, Johnny Wimbrey, and others. Those are powerful mentors, and I'm familiar with them myself, being in the Power Voice. And
Right.
I also was fortunate and blessed enough to speak in the Power Voice 3 Summit. So I understand how you feel. That is, it's an honor and an awesome feeling to be able to do that. And
Yes.
I'm so happy that you have walked this journey, your Queendom journey, and you are being of service. And as we get close to wrapping up, I want you to tell people how they can get in contact with you so that you can fulfill this mission of helping 100. And I see you helping even more than 100 women.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, they can go to the queendomjourney.com. That's TheQueendomJourney.com. They can get in touch with me on all social media at the Queendom Journey, except Twitter is at Queendom Journey. And The information for my network marketing business is also on there. I have a free 30-minute consultation, and my book, The Power of Mental Wealth, that I did with Mr. Les Brown, Mr. Johnny Willoughby, and Miss Heather Monningham, is available on there as well.
All right. Your website in the comments so that people can see it and contact you, and you can fulfill this mission and help other women get on their queendom journey. Linda, it's been great having you.
Thank you.
I love your story.
It's been great being here.
And yeah, that story you tell me, I mean, it's not just a story, it's your power came on right before this interview happened.
Look
like
at God.
Said, hey, truly
Thank
blessed.
you. Yes, thank you for having me. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, I know your water will be on soon.
Yes, thank you for having me. God bless you.
All right, now you have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
This is Sid Owsley from the Determination Determines Destination podcast, the 3 Ds to Success, where we share stories of people who use the 3 Ds to success. Determination determines destination to overcome obstacles and challenges in their life. This is Sid Owsley. Stay warm. I'm out.